Ms. Madoff, please stand. It is the judgment of this court that the defendant, Bernard L. Madoff, shall be and hereby is sentenced to a term of imprisonment of 150 years.
The HBO film Wizard of Lies tells the story of the largest financial fraud in American history, where the deceptions of a single man wiped out the savings of thousands of Americans. In reaction to the film, Rebalance IRA recently gathered an expert panel to discuss how to protect your retirement investments. Rebalance IRA Managing Director Scott Puritz moderated the event and was joined by Congressman Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland, Phyllis Borzi, former Assistant Secretary for Employee Benefits Security of the U.S. Department of Labor, and Elizabeth Kelly, former Special Assistant to the President at the White House National Economic Council.
Wizard of Lies presents a stark scenario where an investment manager was blatantly lying and ripping off his clients in violation of many federal laws, enough to accrue him a 150-year prison sentence. But as Scott said, the sad reality is that many investment advisors are currently ripping off their clients in a way that's perfectly legal, charging higher fees than necessary and steering them towards products that may not be in their best interest. The good news is that on Friday, June 9th, the fiduciary or conflict of interest rule requiring advisors to provide advice to their clients in their best interest will go into effect. For the last 3 years, I was fortunate to work closely with Phyllis Borzi and her terrific team at the Department of Labor as they worked round the clock to put into effect these protections for retirement savers, despite substantial opposition from the financial services industry and many politicians.
What this rule does is level the playing field. It says if you want to hold yourself out as an expert and give consumers advice, then your legal responsibility, your benchmark, your very basic responsibility is to be legally accountable to put the best interest of your client ahead of everything else. And you know what? There are lots of people in the marketplace that are providing advice today using this fiduciary or best interest standard. The people, as Elizabeth pointed out, who are registered investment advisors, do that. What can you do to protect yourself? I think Elizabeth talked about it. Ask people who want to give you advice, are you a fiduciary? And if they waffle, like my guy did, well, of course we care about your best interest. That's not the question I asked you, buddy. If they say yes, then say, will you put that in writing? Get them to acknowledge fiduciary status in writing. If they say no, think about voting with your feet.
Phyllis said she was on the Hill for 16 years, and I've been on the Hill, I think, for 16 weeks, but it feels like 16 years. But look, the work that everybody up here has done has been essential to making sure that the marketplace is not an arena of scams and rip-offs and predatory action against consumers and investors. And that's what it's all about. So, look, we need a massive campaign for financial literacy in America, and we need it for two reasons. One is so people can protect their own investments and understand what it is that they're getting their money into, and they can make shrewd and prudent and strategic choices consistent with what their financial goals and agenda are. But two, we need massive financial literacy so people as citizens and as policymakers can make the right decisions about legislation and about regulation.
And if I can add, in most things you think, well, if I pay more money, I'm going to get a better product.
Yeah,
in investing, it's just the opposite. The single largest, the most accurate variable in terms of long-term return is low fees. The higher the fees, the lower the long-term return. We've clocked out. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. Great questions and great answers.
To find out more, visit rebalanceira.com.